The delivery room was full of people, doctors, nurses, machines beeping softly. Yet when the baby entered the world, there was no cry, no scream, no sound. Lucas Harrington, one of the most powerful billionaires in the country, leaned forward anxiously. He waited for that familiar newborn wail, the sound that told parents everything was okay. Seconds passed. Too many seconds. The doctor's smile faded. Margaret Harrington, Lucas's wife, gripped the sheets. "Why isn't he crying?" she whispered. The doctor exchanged a glance with the nurse before finally speaking in a careful, practiced tone. "He's breathing," the doctor said slowly. "But he isn't responding to sound." Lucas felt his chest tighten. "What does that mean?" he demanded. The doctor hesitated. "It means your son was born deaf." The room seemed to shrink. Lucas Harrington, a man who negotiated billion-dollar deals without blinking, suddenly couldn't breathe. Margaret broke down instantly, sobbing uncontrollably as she reached for their baby boy. Lucas stood frozen, staring at his son's tiny face. Perfect fingers, perfect lips, perfect eyes, yet trapped in a world without sound. Before we continue, if emotional, powerful stories move you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us bring more stories like this to you. Now, let's continue. They named him Ethan. From the beginning, Lucas refused to accept the diagnosis. He flew in specialists from Europe, commissioned experimental tests, demanded second opinions. Every result came back the same. Congenital deafness. Permanent. No medical cure. Lucas spent millions trying anyway, but no amount of money could buy sound for his son. As Ethan grew, the silence became heavier. He learned to walk without ever hearing his footsteps. He laughed without knowing what laughter sounded like. He slept through thunderstorms and alarms alike. Lucas tried to be strong, but every milestone felt bittersweet. When Ethan turned 3, Lucas clapped loudly behind him. No reaction. Lucas's hands slowly fell to his sides. That night, Lucas locked himself in his study and smashed a priceless glass sculpture against the wall. For the first time in his life, money meant nothing. The world wasn't kind to Ethan. At exclusive playgroups, children stared. Some mocked the way he spoke. Others ignored him completely. One teacher once whispered to Lucas, "Children like him, they usually fall behind." Lucas leaned forward, eyes cold. "My son isn't behind," he said. "The world just refuses to slow down." Eventually, Lucas pulled Ethan out of school. The mansion became Ethan's entire universe. Quiet, controlled, lonely. That was when the maid arrived. Her name was Anna. She was young, polite, and unassuming, just another staff member on paper. But from the moment she met Ethan, something felt different. Instead of speaking loudly or slowly like others, Anna smiled and waved. She knelt to his level. Then, to Lucas's surprise, her hands moved gracefully. She was using sign language. Ethan's eyes lit up instantly. For the first time that day, he felt understood. Lucas noticed how Ethan followed Anna everywhere. She didn't treat him like a fragile object. She didn't pity him. She played with him, teased him, challenged him. One afternoon, Ethan knocked over a vase. A housekeeper scolded him sharply, her voice harsh. Ethan flinched, not from sound, but from the sudden anger on her face. Before Lucas could react, Anna stepped in. She gently placed a hand on Ethan's shoulder, smiled warmly, and exaggerated a silly "oops" expression. Ethan burst into silent laughter. Lucas felt something crack inside his chest. When was the last time my son laughed like that? That evening, Lucas stopped Anna in the hallway. "You know sign language," he said. Anna nodded. "Yes, sir." "Where did you learn it?" She hesitated. "My younger brother," she said softly. "He was born deaf too." Lucas's throat tightened. "You didn't mention this on your application." "I didn't think it mattered," Anna replied. "I just needed the job." Lucas studied her for a long moment. Then he nodded. "You can continue helping with Ethan." Anna bowed slightly. "Thank you, sir." Days turned into weeks. Ethan's behavior began to change. He was calmer, more expressive, less frustrated. Lucas watched as Anna taught Ethan games involving rhythm, tapping tables, feeling vibrations through surfaces, responding to patterns. One afternoon, Lucas entered the playroom unexpectedly. Anna froze. Ethan sat cross-legged on the floor. Between them lay a small cloth bundle. Anna instinctively tried to cover it. Lucas frowned. "What's that?" Anna swallowed hard. "I didn't mean to bring it out," she said nervously. "Bring what out?" Lucas asked. Slowly, Anna unwrapped the cloth. Inside was a strange handmade object, old, worn, and nothing like the advanced technology Lucas had paid millions for. Lucas stared at it. What is that?" he asked quietly. Anna looked down, her hands trembling. "It's something my father made," she said. "For my brother." Lucas's heart began to race. Ethan reached for the object, his eyes wide with curiosity. Anna gently stopped him and looked up at Anna. "There's something you need to know," she said. And in that moment, Lucas Harrington had no idea that everything he believed about silence, disability, and his son's future was about to be challenged. Lucas Harrington stared at the object lying between Anna and his son. It was small, old, handmade. Not sleek, not expensive, not impressive by billionaire standards. And yet, something about it made Lucas's heartbeat grow louder in his chest. "You said your father made this," Lucas said slowly, "for your brother." Anna nodded, her fingers gripping the edge of the cloth. "My brother's name was Samuel," she began. "He was born deaf, just like Ethan." Lucas lowered himself into a chair. "Doctors told my parents the same thing they told you," Anna continued, "that silence would be his entire life, that nothing could change it." She swallowed hard. But my father didn't believe that. Anna carefully picked up the device. "It doesn't create sound," she said. "It teaches the body to understand it." Lucas frowned. "That doesn't make sense." Anna offered a sad smile. "That's what everyone said." She placed the device gently on the table and tapped it lightly. A faint vibration pulsed through the wood. Ethan's eyes widened. He felt it. Anna signed slowly so Lucas could follow. Feel, rhythm, pattern. Ethan placed his hand on the table. Anna tapped again. This time, Ethan reacted instantly. Lucas's breath caught. "What is this?" Lucas whispered. "My father studied mechanics at night," she said. "He learned about vibration, bone conduction, neural pathways. He believed the brain could learn new languages, even without sound." Lucas leaned forward. "And your brother?" Anna's eyes glistened. "He learned to recognize voices through rhythm, emotions through patterns. He couldn't hear music, but he could feel it." Silence filled the room. Then Lucas asked the question he was afraid of. "Why haven't I heard of this?" Anna lowered her gaze. "Because my brother died," she said quietly. 2 years ago." Lucas closed his eyes. "I'm sorry," he said. Anna nodded. "After he passed, no one cared about the device anymore. No funding, no interest. Just silence again." Ethan tugged at Anna's sleeve, pointing at the device. He wanted to try. Lucas hesitated. Every doctor's warning echoed in his mind. Unproven, unsafe, false hope. But then he looked at his son. Ethan wasn't afraid. He was curious, hopeful. Lucas nodded once. "Show me," he said. Over the next hour, Anna guided Ethan gently. She placed the device against his wrist, then his collarbone, then his chest. She tapped rhythms. Slow, fast, complex. Ethan responded. Not perfectly, but instinctively. Lucas watched in disbelief as his son began anticipating patterns before Anna signed them. His hands trembled. In 20 minutes, Ethan did more than years of therapy had achieved. That night, Lucas couldn't sleep. He sat alone in his study, staring at city lights from floor-to-ceiling windows. I spent millions on silence, he thought, and ignored understanding. At 3 a.m., Lucas made a call. "Get me the best neuroscientists, engineers, and audiologists," he said. "I don't care where they are." Within days, the Harrington mansion transformed. Whiteboards lined the walls. Sensors and scanners filled rooms. Experts whispered excitedly as they examined the device. Some were skeptical. This borders on pseudoscience. There's no peer-reviewed data. This could be dangerous. Lucas stood firm. You'll observe, not interfere. Anna worked closely with Ethan every day. The progress was undeniable. Ethan began reacting before visual cues. He recognized people by vibration patterns. He sensed emotions through movement and rhythm. One afternoon, Anna stood behind Ethan and tapped softly on the floor. Ethan turned around. Lucas froze.
Ethan hadn't seen it. He had felt it. Lucas collapsed into a chair, tears streaming down his face. For the first time, hope felt real. But hope attracts enemies. Word began to leak. A board-certified specialist filed a complaint. A medical council questioned ethics. A powerful corporation offered to buy the device outright. Lucas refused. Then came the letter. Notice of immediate cessation. Unauthorized experimental treatment. Potential child endangerment. Legal consequences imminent. Lucas crushed the paper in his hand. Margaret begged him to stop. "What if this hurts him?" she cried. "What if we're wrong?" Lucas looked at Ethan, smiling, learning, alive. "If I stop now," Lucas said quietly, "I silence him again." The pressure intensified. Anna was blamed. "She's manipulating you. She's just a maid. She's filling your head with false hope." One night, Anna packed her bags. "I don't want to be the reason Ethan gets hurt," she signed. Ethan shook his head violently, grabbing her hand. Lucas stepped forward. "You're not leaving," he said firmly. Anna looked at him in shock. Lucas knelt beside her. "My entire life I believed power came from money," he said. "But everything my son has learned came from you." Tears streamed down Anna's face. The next morning, Lucas made a decision that shocked everyone. He called for a global press conference. Doctors protested. Lawyers warned him. Family members begged him not to. Lucas didn't care. "If they want to stop us," he said, "they'll have to do it in the open." As reporters flooded in, Lucas held Ethan's hand. Anna stood nearby, clutching the device her father built with hope and love. Lucas stepped onto the stage. Cameras flashed. Microphones waited. "This is my son," Lucas began. And in that moment, the world leaned forward, unaware that it was about to witness something no amount of money had ever bought.
The room was packed. Cameras lined the walls. Reporters whispered. Lights burned hot against the stage. Lucas Harrington stood at the podium, his hand resting firmly on his son's shoulder. Ethan stood calmly beside him. He didn't understand the noise, but he felt the tension, the vibrations, the weight of the moment. "My name is Lucas Harrington," Lucas began, his voice steady but thick with emotion. "And this is my son, Ethan." Flashes exploded. "This is not a press event for profit," Lucas continued. "It's a confession." The room fell quiet. "My son was born deaf," Lucas said, "and for years I tried to buy him a future." Lucas paused, eyes burning. "I failed." Murmurs spread. "I brought the best doctors in the world into my home," Lucas continued. "I funded research. I demanded miracles." He looked down at Ethan. "But the truth is, my son was never broken." Anna stood at the side of the stage, clutching the small wooden device in both hands. Her heart pounded. Lucas turned toward her. "This woman," he said, gesturing, "was hired as a maid." The room stirred. She came with no degree, no money, no reputation, only understanding. Lucas's voice cracked. "She gave my son something I couldn't." A reporter shouted, "Are you claiming a cure?" Lucas shook his head firmly. "No," he said. "I'm claiming a bridge." Lucas gestured for Anna to step forward. She hesitated, then obeyed. "This device," he said, holding it up, "was built by a man the world never listened to, a father who refused to accept silence as an ending." Doctors in the audience leaned forward. Lucas turned to Ethan and knelt. "Are you ready?" he asked gently. Ethan nodded. Anna knelt behind Ethan. She placed the device against his chest. The room watched confused. Then Anna tapped the stage floor. Tap. Tap, tap. Pause. Ethan closed his eyes. His fingers trembled. Another tap. Another pause. Then Ethan opened his mouth. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't clear. But it was real. Low. The room exploded. Gasps. Cries. Hands covering mouths. Lucas collapsed to his knees, sobbing openly. Margaret screamed and rushed forward, holding her son. Anna pressed a hand over her mouth, tears pouring down her face. That single word echoed louder than any applause. The headlines went viral within hours. Billionaire's deaf son speaks first words. Maid's device shakes medical world. Silence redefined. Medical boards reversed their stance. Universities requested studies. Foundations offered funding.
Lucas refused exclusive ownership. "This will never belong to one man," he said. "It belongs to every family told there's nothing more we can do." Anna was offered titles, degrees, positions. She accepted one role only: advocate. Months passed. The device was refined, made safer, made accessible. Children across the world learned to experience sound differently, through vibration, rhythm, connection. Not all spoke, but all were heard. One evening, Lucas sat beside Ethan on the balcony over the city. Anna joined them quietly. Ethan placed the device between them. He tapped the table. Tap, tap, tap. Pause. Lucas smiled. "What is it?" he asked. Ethan took a breath. "I love you," Lucas broke. Not because of the words, but because of the journey it took to reach them. Anna later stood alone, holding the wooden box. Her father's hands, her brother's hope. She whispered softly, "We didn't fail." Years later, Ethan stood on a stage of his own, not as a miracle, not as a symbol, as a voice. "Silence," he said slowly, carefully, "is not emptiness." He looked into the audience. "It is just another way to listen." Sometimes the greatest miracles don't come from power. They come from patience, from love, from someone the world never expected.
The world didn't quiet down after that day. It grew louder, not with noise, but with questions. Families from every corner of the globe flooded Lucas Harrington's offices with letters. Some were handwritten, some were desperate emails sent at 3 a.m., some were voice messages from parents who had never heard their child speak, and every letter felt like a mirror of his own past. Ethan's life changed rapidly, but not easily. Suddenly, he wasn't just a child anymore. He was a symbol. Cameras followed him, people stared. Some praised him, others doubted him. He's being used. This is just another billionaire stunt. It won't work for everyone. Lucas shielded his son fiercely. "He's not a miracle," Lucas told reporters. "He's a child." Anna stayed close. She noticed things others didn't: Ethan's fatigue, his frustration, the pressure building silently inside him. One evening, she found Ethan sitting alone in the music room. The piano was untouched. The device lay beside him. Anna sat next to him and signed gently. "What's wrong?" Ethan hesitated, then slowly signed back. Too many eyes, too many expectations. Anna's heart clenched. That night, Anna confronted Lucas. "You're giving people hope," she said carefully, "but Ethan is carrying the weight of it." Lucas looked exhausted. "I know," he admitted, "but if we stop, how many children stay unheard?" Anna thought for a long moment. "Then we changed the focus," she said, "from Ethan to the world." The Harrington Foundation was born quietly. No press conference, no branding deals, no exclusivity. Its mission was simple: access over attention, understanding over profit, listening over noise. The device was never called a cure. It was called the bridge. Children responded differently. Some learned to speak, some learned to feel rhythm, some simply learned to connect, and that was enough. Doctors were forced to change language. No longer disabled, but differently wired. Schools adapted. Teachers learned patience. Parents learned something more powerful than hope. They learned to trust. Years passed. Ethan grew taller, stronger, calmer. He still used the device, but less often now. His brain had learned new pathways. His confidence had learned new routes. One day, he asked Lucas a question through sign and speech combined. "Why did you believe her?" Lucas didn't answer immediately. He looked at Anna, standing across the room, helping another child laugh through rhythm. "Because," Lucas said finally, "she never tried to fix you. She tried to understand you." Anna was invited to universities around the world. She always refused the spotlight. "I'm not the story," she said. "My father isn't either. The story is what happens when someone listens." One winter evening, years later, Anna stood alone at a small grave. Samuel's name was carved into stone. She placed the wooden box at the base. "They hear now," she whispered. "You were right." Ethan, now a teenager, stood on another stage, smaller, quieter. No cameras, just families. Children sat cross-legged on the floor, devices in their hands. Ethan didn't prepare a speech. He simply tapped. Tap, 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 pause. The children responded. Together. A room full of silence, communicating perfectly. Lucas watched from the back, tears filling his eyes. Not because his son spoke, but because the world finally listened. Later that night, Lucas asked Ethan something. "If you could hear perfectly tomorrow, would you want to?" Ethan smiled gently. "No," he said. "I don't want to lose how I learned to listen."
Sometimes the greatest change doesn't come from adding sound. It comes from learning that silence was never empty. It was waiting.